Personally, I have concerns about this because there's news going on that God of War's have a spin-off in the next few years, launching in 2027. I don't know if that is enough time, honestly. Because here's the thing, we just got announced that a God of War remake, God of War Greek trilogy, was being remade, and now they also have a team that's developing. There's a team that did develop the 2D adventure of Kratos and Deimos, and now apparently we've been having a team working on a God of War spin-off that keeps us within the lore of God of War 3, of God of War Norse. And here's several questions I'm having a problem with, or no, not a problem, I have a concern with, because here's the thing: if they're alleging that a LinkedIn profile from a former Santa Monica studio writer Sparks talks of a new project in the God of War universe with leaker Nate the Hate and Chappelle Nick claim Faye leading in a fast Devil May Cry style action combat. Now I think to myself, at first I thought this is going to be a TV show. At first I thought, oh no, they're going to do Kratos dirty like they did Geralt of Riviera when they did the Netflix TV show The Witcher. And then I saw that it's a video game. Okay, that's fine. But also I think about this and I think to myself, why are they specifically bringing out Devil May Cry as a style? And I think to myself, Devil May Cry 3 was that's still a problem though, because Devil May Cry 3 within the franchise, the Devil May Cry, Devil May Cry 3 was a focus on the early days of Dante, before he became the titular mercenary for hire for demon slaying purposes, right? So I think to myself, wouldn't it be sick if Faye had a similar instance to where she didn't technically, she even though she has a huge, and her death perpetuates the requirement for Kratos to bond with his son, to go to the highest peak in the realm, to scatter her ashes. That was the goal of the first game. She also predicted what would have happened. She also predicted the visions that would have happened during the events of God of War Ragnarok, God of War 2018, and then there's paintings of like what Kratos was prophesized to be, right? So I think to myself, that could be bad. That couldn't be too bad. It could be a game where, okay, director Cory Balrog, it could reveal her backstory as LaFay the Just, including giant secrets like prophecies, and Galahorn with a possible reveal later this year. And 2027 launch, fan divided over playing as Faye instead of Kratos, some praising her canonical strength while others insisting the series needed its original lead. Honestly, God of War, wait, is who is the God of War within Norse mythology? Tyr is recognized as the God of War, law, and justice. Renowned Tyr is the Germanic mythology, myth, and lore. God of War, Tyr's key Norse mythology. Who is LaFay? Who LaFay the Just? Who is Wtphu the Just. Well, who is Wtphu the Just? Let's close that window. Her appearance on the wall in Yona. Who was Wtphu the Just? Referenced in. Okay, known as Naya or Faye is a figure in astrology versus their. Like again, who was she? Norse mythology. Okay, so Norse mythology, allegedly. Okay, right? Again, it's not true fact, but allegedly, in Norse mythology, Wtphu or Nal is the mother of the trickster god Loki and wife of Jotun Farbalti, referred to as Loki Wtphu Jarson, rather by his father's name. She is a mysterious figure associated with nature. Needle, mother of Loki, primarily known as Loki's mother, alongside the children of Bysteer, Bylester, and Helbindi. Which, again, these could be characters that we see in the alleged God of War spinoff. Norse mythology for full leaves, suggesting connection to tree nature. Although married to the giant, it's not stated if she is a giantess herself or a goddess. As nature myth, where lightning strikes, where's Loki fire? Traditional Norse sagas identify her strictly as Loki's mother and not a male ruling king. Again, so what I was trying to do was trying to have a correlate. I'm trying to have a justification as to the moniker of God of War, right? To where we played Kratos as the God of War because he took over the position from Ares, the God of War, right? And so for them to make a spin-off game that is based off the wife of Kratos and the mother of Atreus, what I'm trying to like play in my head is, what is the purpose of this game outside other? The sole purpose of this game is meant to expand the lore within God of War, right? Because I don't actually officially know if we're properly leaving, if Kratos is properly leaving the Norse mythos, or if he's, because like there's an alleged thing to where there's a scene in Ragnarok or a scene within 2018 God of War where there are other mythos and legends that they can be participative of, like Celtic lore, Celtic mythology, some old form of Egyptian or Chinese mythology, and then because like the next proper saga of Kratos is gonna be exploring how he, for spoilers, how he is forgiven. Hold on, let me see. God of War Ragnarok is Kratos depicted as forgiven and praised as a god in that ending. In the ending of Ragnarok, Kratos is depicted as having found redemption, moving from a feared monster to a revered and loved figure who is worshipped as a god. Solidifies his journey from destruction towards a good hope. or a beneficial leader. That's the thing, though. So let's see. That's hold on. Let me see, cause let me pull up. Let me pull up. Hold on. Let me pull up. Hold on. YouTube. Hold on. Nope, not what I want. Cause like it's like during the post credits, right? Yeah, I think this is the scene. Hold on. Let me pull up the scene that I'm thinking of. There's a back, right? Because like for spoilers. There's him discovering there's another side to what him and Atreus found. And this is so crazy because, again, this is spoilers for a game that's happened like 3 years ago, right? There's a depiction of Kratos. Hold on. There's a depiction, like, right there alone. Hold on. Right now, there's a depiction. Right here, prediction of a fight with Thor and Kratos. There's Atreus and Kratos. There's Kratos coming into the land from Greece to Ireland or Greenland. There's him and Atreus going to the highest peak of Jotunheim. There's Thor and Kratos. And then there's Kratos at the end of his journey. And that's the end game of the next. And then there's Big Man Kratos crying. Yeah, a path towards redemption from his crimes. That's like that. That's also self-imposed. But that's the thing. That's the direction that I believe is God of War. That Santa Monica Studios is telling us is that the next proper arc of Kratos is going to be him towards that path to where he is redeemed. And I don't know if that last door is meant to be a depiction of him at the end of Ragnarok, because at the same time this is them saying like, hey, this is a game that's happening. This game with Faye is happening at the same time as the end of God of War 3, where he fights Zeus, releases hope into the world, and then he is seen, and we see a blood trail leaving the spot where he allegedly died, right? And so we're assuming that this spin-off game is during the events of Kratos getting off that final combat stadium with his dad, him traveling to like the Denmark is Denmark Norse. And then it depicts, and then we're missing out. this is happening at the same time that Kratos is traveling from Greece to Denmark, because Denmark is the center of Norse mythology, and Gjallarhorn's a thing. And like honestly, I think it's a good idea to like, as long as they execute it, then we're gonna have a good time from Santa Monica, because Santa Monica is known for their good games. So that's my personal opinion. We're about to eat, guys, just because people trust the work that comes from Santa Monica Studios. But like, let's see what other people have thought. It'd be fun to see if Kratos is the final boss. Being the final boss shows how they met, because my understanding is that Kratos left the fight with Zeus after stabbing himself and releasing hope. He is an injured man. I don't know how he patched himself up before getting on a boat, going to Denmark, and he did something in Denmark to lead him into meeting Faye. And I guess we see how that happens. And then if it will be interesting to see if Kratos becomes a support character, and then we don't see, and then like definitely the gap between the ending of this game and the beginning of God of War 2018, that's them somehow raising a kid, and then Kratos goes off for some reason. Because my understanding with the lore is that Kratos was a distant father. Because of his fear of being like Zeus, he was a distant father. He was a distant father to Atreus, and Kratos couldn't do anything to prevent the death of Faye. So we could see how Faye died. Was it explained? Was it explained how Faye died? Died due to a mysterious and natural her death is treated as mysterious, natural, or illness that serves as a catalyst for the game's story. So we don't know if she died of illness, exhaustion from battle with Thor, or self-sacrifice to guide Kratos and Atreus. We don't know. We don't know the cause of the death, but it could be a situation to where the ending shows how she dies, and then him walking, and then the post credits with him being walking off to a tree that she's marked, kicking off 2018 God of War, which is really cool. That'd be a cool like post credit scene, but definitely that's some theory making. Let's see. Praising Angela Santambino's voice acting. Good job. I talked about that. Let's see. Portably focus on Faye as the main character. But, okay, because she is known as a... Because, like, when you think of, like, Devil May Cry style combat, I'm thinking about multiple weapons. So, other than the primary axe that she passes on to Kratos, it's no surprise that she also will have a bow and arrow, because because Atreus has bow and arrow. I wonder if they're gonna touch on what it could be: a single-handed sword, dual wielding hand axes. Like, if you're gonna go crazy on the ideas of what of what a Devil May Cry style game would be, God of War without Kratos as a main character can be kept, because like it could be, we can definitely, there could be a scenario to where they evolve the God of War franchise as to an anthology almost. It just so happens that there's a core anthology of just Kratos being a badass. I feel this way about a low-key main character game. I feel like the charm of God of War with Kratos is with the God of War with Kratos as the lead is that's where the charm is. If you want to limit what the series can do, different shows for different folks. Yeah, you're right. What is it? So just to be clear, because everyone seems to be saying the same thing. If they call this game something completely different, we'd all be okay with it. It's just like it's just it is just it can't be called God of War because that's what I'm misunderstanding. Yeah, because like Afro Senju, I think to myself, it can't because we can still keep the God of War title, but also would it have to say something like as like the subtext like I don't know what the naming convention would be for the spin-off though. That's my question. That's my curiosity. Total meltdown across Twitter as at the thought of playing a female-led God of War game. Yeah, because my first impression, I didn't even read that it was a game. I thought it was an adaptation with. I thought it was talking about the God of War TV show with, and saying that it's going to be led by a woman, and I had concerns about it the same way The Witcher devolved into, but no, we've definitely played a Horizon Zero Dawn before where a main character female was quite the badass. Faye is an absolute badass who gave Kratos his axe and Atreus his bow. Because like yeah, definitely this is the glue that binds those two characters together. That'll be a fun storytelling thing to say. Let me see what else. Rumored to be lead character, new franchise, set in the God of. It's a new game, not a new franchise. A franchise would mean more than one game, I think. Different gameplay with big action focus. Yeah, because like allegedly she has a dagger, so there could be a. Well, not I wouldn't say that's like a fighting dagger, because she gives her axe, her personal axe and personal bow to her family. So what other items could she have used during her time as a warrior? Is what I'm hearing. Is what I'm wondering. I mean, God of War can still be God of War without Kratos, right? It's kind of like it's the same way how they pushed, like at the end of Devil May Cry, for example. At the end of Devil May Cry 5, they are promoting the fact that Devil May Cry could still be Devil May Cry without Dante, and they proved that during Devil May Cry 4, and then sharing the protagonist role in Devil May Cry 5. So that can be a thing. Fast paced, more action oriented. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that is definitely true. God of War started with Kratos chopping down a tree that Faye marked. Knew the prophecy at Jotunheim. She chose the prophecies chose when Jotunheim would start, when Ragnar would start. Would start. Yeah, Thor. Faye fought Thor to a standstill. Hit being a giant from the literal God of War. Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. That'd be pretty fun. That'd be pretty fun. Artists, with more focus on gameplay. Yeah, I'm extremely excited to see what. I am anxious to see where this goes, but I'm excited to see what this turns out in. But again, this could be nothing. This could be everything. But let me know your thoughts.